So apparently, this mineral deal, against all odds, is gonna happen.
And let's start right here where we left things on Friday. Ukrainian President Zelensky now says, hey, I'm ready to sign that minerals deal with the United States. This despite his heated confrontation.
Why'd they give him... Hey, it's the content president. Why'd they have a wrestling belt on?
And I'm sure you saw it with President Trump and Vice President Vance in the Oval Office on Friday afternoon.
Madeline Rivera is live in Washington with the latest for us. Hey, Maddie.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Yeah, despite that spat with President Trump at the Oval Office on Friday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he remains confident that he thinks his relationship...
Everybody acts like that shit's a big deal. Like, it's not a big deal. People get in arguments like that all the time. It's not, like... I bet probably privately it's, like, way worse than that. It's, like, not good that it was public, but on, like, a personal, emotional level with them, they probably don't give a fuck.
With the United States and with President Trump can be repaired. And like you said, Steve, he is still confident and optimistic that they can reach a minerals deal with the United States. He still wants security guarantees, though, but Trump administration officials say security guarantees are contingent on a peace deal, and they don't even know if peace is possible at this point. That's why they say they're trying to get Russian President Vladimir Putin to the negotiating table.
President Zelensky has thrown off the sequencing. And Margaret, let me tell you the most tragic part of this. The President Trump's idea for this economic arrangement was to further intertwine the American people and the Ukrainian people and show no daylight.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says a minerals deal is currently off the table. To get it back on track, some Republicans and U.S. officials say a major reset is necessary, and they argue that task falls on Zelensky.
Something has to change. Either he needs to come to his senses and come back to the table in gratitude, or someone else needs to lead the country to do that. I mean, it's up to the Ukrainians to figure that out.
European leaders are grappling with the fallout. After holding a summit with other European leaders in London over the weekend, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced the outlines of a plan to end the war. The Associated Press reports the proposal would keep aid flowing to Ukraine and continue to arm them from any future Russian invasion. Starmer reportedly says the UK is ready to put boots on the ground and planes in the air.
That's crazy that they're actually going to send troops over to Ukraine. Like, I believe that when I see it. That's nuts. Yeah, is that World War III? I mean, maybe. Like, I don't really think it's World War III, to be honest. Like, unless they start attacking Russia, it's not really going to happen.
Plan would still need U.S. support.
Europe must do the heavy lifting. But to support peace in our continent and to succeed, this effort must have strong U.S. backing.
French President Emmanuel Macron spoke to another French outlet where he suggested that a limited month-long truce may be possible in Ukraine, and he said troops could be deployed at a later stage. Lawrence, Steve, Ryan, and Ainsley.
So, Maddie, when he left Washington on Friday, he said, I was not ready to sign that deal. 48 hours later, I'm ready to sign that deal, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, fucking obviously, right? Like, I mean, that makes sense. What a surprise. Yeah. No, I mean, of course that's what's going to happen, because the thing is that he did not say that. He never said that? Well, we'll see. Not until we see it. That's a good point. I wouldn't be surprised if he came back and did it, though. I'll tell you that.
You know, we saw documents of this deal on Friday. Our Jackie Heinrich sent it out, but they were not signed. Of course, that means nothing was completely agreed to. But look, obviously, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, he was told reportedly by some of his advisors about how to approach the president here. And clearly he did not follow that suggested approach. Now he says he's ready to sign the minerals deal. We will see if that is going to be happening at all.
Thanks, Maddie. He was going to sign the deal if they got through the press conference. That's all he had to do, was get through the press conference. The whole thing was
Don't take the bait.
It wasn't going to be. He wouldn't have shown up if he wasn't going to sign the deal. So that was a done deal. So as Jack Keane brought up, who might be his biggest supporter in terms of who he blames in Mark Thiessen's column today, He said, Jack Keane says, the only answer to the question he should have understood going to the Oval Office is, the only answer to the question is, thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to work with you to achieve a peaceful end to this war, period. I understand he's literally at war for 3 years. We know people.
Yeah, no, they're trying to, they don't like, the thing is that he trying to argue this from a position of equality. He not equal to the United States. He not equal to Russia either. Like, you got to take what you can get. And, like, it shouldn't be that way, but I think it is. And, like, so, like, I don't know how do you do that in, like, you know, because, like, he doesn't want to look bad in front of, like, his people, too. Like, I'm not sure, like, how to handle that. Like, it's a bad situation that he's in. This thanking rhetoric is bullshit. It is bullshit, and it's not bullshit. It's the reason why they want him to do that is because it probably means that basically, this is what I think. Like, I don't think that Russia is going to want to do anything when they have this guy calling him a murderer and fucking war criminals and saying, like, Russia is terrible and shit like this, right? Like, they're not going to want to do and negotiate while he's doing that. And so if he keeps doing that, then the chances of negotiations go really, really far down. Like, whether it's true or not, they still go down. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter what's true. They don't want either. Yeah, exactly. And they want Zelensky to follow the lead. Are you not sure if Zelensky's grateful? I think he is. I think he's very grateful to the United States. I think absolutely he is. And I feel like the premise of this is a little bit silly, but they are trying to basically just get him in line.
They come back from war after 6 months, they're not the
and
same.
Have him not talk
He's not
shit,
a typical
basically.
leader. And I'm not making excuses, but he goes to the front lines every day. Those 20,000 kids that were stolen, he knows those parents. They're sitting there in Russia. He knows most of the maybe 600,000 troops or 500,000 troops that are no longer on the battlefield, dead or wounded. But his stress is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But why an aide next to him says, hey, let's not, maybe this isn't a good time to show up. He didn't have to show up to that. He could have had that, they could have signed it, sent it, it could have been done. And all the pressure would have been on Russia because all indications are Russia doesn't want to sit down and do anything. What their early demands were are a non-starter.
Well, he was told to show up at the White House in a suit and tie. It was specific.
Yeah, if they told him to do that, he didn't do that. He in a situation where he should have done that. Like, the thing is that, Asman, you don't know what you're talking about, do you? What do I not know what I'm talking about? Because you're a consistent disagreeers, right? And so what are you unhappy about that I'm saying? And so Zelensky, no, the thing is that if you have these people that are going to give you a bunch of money and they have they have the ability to solve your problem, I would show up in a suit. I would. At the end of the day, right? It's like, because at a certain point, you've got to put your pride aside. You've got to do what's going to work for you. I want you to describe how he's grateful based off his actions.
Mr. President, with respect.
Thank you. America's leadership remains solid. Thank you. All this for our great people. Thank you so much.
And I thank every American, every in the world who is helping for every life saved in Ukraine.
All my appreciations from my heart, from the heart of Ukrainians, all Ukrainians, from our nation, strong nations, all the appreciation to you, first of all, Mr. President, for your big support.
And I want to thank all Americans, each and every one, leaders and ordinary people who see this reality.
How are we doing?
Who know how important it is to protect freedom now, who support Ukraine. We are grateful to President Biden, to both parties and houses of Congress, and to every state that is involved in one way or another in protecting freedom.
Хочу подякувати пану президенту за цей його візит, за переговори, дійсно корисні. Дякую також від імені усіх українців, усім американцям, звичайно.
So don't you think you should maybe shut the fuck up and figure it out for yourself before you go around talking shit to me? What do you think about that? This video is not even halfway over, and I didn't start it from the beginning, and you still got here. Now you roaching out over some shit you're talking, making some bullshit up that didn't even happen. Trying to insult me and tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. Why don't you educate yourself first? You're right, he's grateful, I guess. It's fine, right? It's just, again, like...
The White House, according to Axios yesterday.
That's true.
He was told, show up in a necktie. He was told by Lindsey Graham before the blow up, hey, don't take the bait. If the president says something that you disagree with, don't.
It's got to be something, though, like, for real, whenever you think about it, the fact that he thought that, isn't that worth mentioning? Isn't that worth thinking about? That's what I was talking about, how echo chambers happen. And this is the important thing. That's why I didn't ban him. Changing your mind based off of new information isn't being stupid, it's being smart. I don't have anything negative to say about that. Not everybody going to know everything about everything. But the best thing that you can do is when you find something new out, you integrate that into your worldview in a healthy way. Why would I, like, because if the thing is, if you get banned, even whenever you're like, oh, I get it now, I didn't understand, then what reason would you ever have to ever capitulate? What reason would you ever have to be reasonable if you know that every outcome will be negative? It's illogical and it doesn't create the result and the action that I want to see. So why would I do that?
Blow up. I heard Peter Doocy report yesterday from this couch that his sources inside the White House said that there will be no deal until Zelensky absolutely apologizes for what he did the other day.
So I've reached out to one of my sources in the administration, and this was on background before, but I said, can I share this? Because I was there 2 days before at the White House, and they were working the deal, and they said, fine, share it. They were going back and forth about this deal with Mike Waltz as well as Marco Rubio. Now, you got to understand the dynamics that were working. First of all, he skipped the meeting with Scott Bessent when he went over to Ukraine.
Slept through
the meeting. Yeah. And then Marco Rubio and the vice president, they come up with this deal with Zelensky, and he says, okay, I'm going to just go to the parliament to get it signed off on. Then he goes publicly and goes against the deal. So the administration was already on edge, but the president was still saying, let's get the deal done. So to Steve's point, he has this congressional meetup, and Lindsey Graham, to your point, says, don't blow up, go out to be grateful, be thankful, and you go do it this way.
Wear a suit.
Wear a suit. He goes there, Ainsley, and does the exact opposite of all the advice that he was given, and he tries to litigate his case before the media.
He should have worn a suit. Like, if they told him to wear a suit, he should have worn a suit. No, he should not. Why not? Solidarity with your soldiers? What do you think the soldiers are going to care more about the war getting ended and having the United States be on their side more? Or are they going to care about him, what he's wearing? Come on. They're going to care about keeping getting killed or what he's wearing? It's a stupid request. And that's exactly why he should have done it. The fact is that it's an unreasonable, weird request that doesn't matter a whole lot. It's patronizing. It is. But the thing is that when you are in charge of something, especially people's lives, your ego needs to not exist. You can't make decisions and do things because of the way that it makes you feel or what you think. That's it. You can't do that. When you do that, you lose. Such a dumb argument. It is patronizing. It is. But he is in a position to be patronized because the United States are the ones that have the money that are funding them. And the United States have been giving them a bunch of money, and they will continue giving them a bunch of money. He is in that position. We are their patron. He's being patronized because we are patronizing that country by sending them billions of dollars of aid. And I know a lot of people think that's not fair. That's not the way that should be. You could be right. You could be right about all that. But at the end of the day, the only thing that I look at, like this is what I said before, right? Only do what is in your best interest. Don't think about ego. Don't think about how something looks. Look at what is the best outcome. How can I move towards achieving this best outcome? That's it. Everything else is noise. And if you don't understand that, you're going to have a lot of problems in life. It's the message you're sending, like in most other jobs interview, you wear a suit? Yeah, no, you do. Last time you were on Zelensky's, you said J.D. Vance was being aggressive. I mean, I like this new side. I agree with it, but why did you change your mind? Well, it's simple. I changed my mind on it because I heard that they told him to wear a suit. If he wasn't told to wear a suit, then I would have had no problem with him not wearing a suit. But if they told him to wear a suit, he should have worn a suit. That's new information, so it changes the way that I look at it. Is that hard to understand? When you got people giving you billions of dollars and they say jump, you say how high? That's bullshit? That's fine. That's bullshit. That's bullshit sounds like that's a great tweet. That's a great Reddit post. That's a great thing that you tell yourself while you're in the shower thinking about a conversation that you had 4 years ago. But it's not effective. And that's what my point is. But still, man, it's just an attire. Exactly. So then do it. Fucking exactly. That's my whole point. You have a disgusting take on this? I'll pull up one person. I'll pull up one person. And I'm going to go ahead. I'll just, because I just want y'all to see that the thought never even crossed the American mind, so the stupid guy brought it up. He never said anything. He'd be talking about him not wearing a suit. No, this actually, you know what? This one's not even worth talking about because Zelensky not wearing a suit has been a point of contention for 2 years. Like you're just like the entire premise of your argument is wrong. It's not even worth looking at or thinking about. Yeah, it's just you're mad about something that didn't even happen. He wants to support it. Doesn't hurt him to wear a suit when he was asked. He should have worn it. Yeah. People are arguing with you about this. It just shows you his men's age. There's a lot of young men that one of the most important things for them is pride. And it's about their image and the way that they look. And for a lot of young men, especially people that don't have established egos and they don't have a lot of things on their own, they are really like being told what to do is the last thing they want to deal with, right? Trump as well. Trump is very prideful. He is, but he's the one in control. So you have to play on his side. That's the way it works. You ever had an asshole boss, but you still got to say, thank you, sir. Your suit looks nice, sir. Good job, sir. Funny joke, sir. Absolutely. Suck it the fuck up and deal with it. You're making decisions for millions of people. It's not about you. Make the right decision for the most people. That's the way I see it. And if they told him to do that, he should have done it. That's it. And also, by the way, I pray that you are never in a situation with a person like that that is willing to put your security, your quality of life, or your safety on the line to maintain their own pride. It's a very bad position to be in.
Amazing that we have helped them so much, given them so many resources, so much money, so much equipment, and that is the way he was treating our president and J.D. Vance in the Oval Office.
He wants more.
He's saying he told the BBC he's still willing to have a constructive dialogue with the United States. He said, I just want the Ukrainian position to be heard. We want our partners to remember who the aggressor is in this war. Here is Secretary Marco Rubio.
I really am puzzled why anyone thinks that trying to be a peacemaker is a bad thing. It's only a bad thing when it's Donald Trump trying to do it. I would ask everybody this. If there are no negotiations, what is the alternative? Another 4 years of war, another 3 years of war, in which the United States and Europe continues to pour billions of dollars into a war in Ukraine? Is that the alternative? I've asked every foreign minister I meet with, tell me your idea of how this turns out. Most don't have a plan. A few have said, well, let's give them another year of fighting. A year from now, a year later, after another year of death, another year of destruction, then maybe Putin will be ready to negotiate at that point. No one here is claiming Vladimir Putin is going to get the Nobel Peace Prize this year, or that he should be the man of the year of the Humanitarian Association. What we're arguing here is he has a very large country.
Yeah, they think Putin's a piece of shit too. But they just know that saying it about him is going to cause the negotiations to go downhill. That's it. They know he's a piece of shit. Everybody knows he's a piece of shit. Yeah, everybody knows that. Like,
they're in full war footing. They're cranking out weapons now at a war footing pace. And we need to figure out, is there a way to get them to stop the war? And the only way you're going to do that is to get Russians engaged in negotiations.
After hearing that, Chris Van Hollen, who's just off the hook on Gaza, he's against the Israelis and anything that Donald Trump's doing. He says he regrets his supporting Marco Rubio for Secretary of State. So does he understand? Number one, Marco Rubio was sitting right there. No one told Marco Rubio what to say there.
No.
Number two is the Russians are losing.
It's very clear that the problem why I think they're mad is because things that happen publicly are not what happened privately. And so it's actually a very personal reason why people are getting pissed off about this topic. It's got nothing else to do besides other stuff.
1,000 troops a day.
Yeah.
If you read the New York Post today, they interviewed 25 people sitting in Ukrainian prisons. Nobody knew what they were fighting for. They all were there because they were threatening their families or that they had absolutely no money and they promised to pay their families if they got killed. They're literally doing human sacrifices. So there's a chance that the Russians might be, we're great at misreading the Russians when they were the Soviets too. There's a chance that they might be hollowed out and might be ready. And let's just put the ball in their court. Everyone in Ukraine, just sign this deal, put it in the Russians' court. And if they are going to insist on elections, more land, not returning the children, and knocking a million-man force to 85,000, everyone will know they're not sincere.
Yeah, but Zelensky doesn't want to do it. And I think that's the problem right now. He's showboating. He went over to the EU and tried to get all of their support in the sense of to put pressure on the president. Right. And then you got the PM as well as the ambassador, the UK ambassador to the United States say, okay, we're going to be there with you, but we still need the United States. And so I think there's a major miscalculation from Zelensky's part. He still wants to fight this war. It's unwinnable. More people will die as a result of it. And the president's saying, like he said in the Oval, I want you to be more on our side. The president said, I can't get a negotiation. I have to be.
Yeah, Trump can't be on Zelensky's side. He can't be on Zelensky's side and solve the problem. You can do one or the other. You can't do both.
In the middle. But I'm signing a minerals deal with you. That is your strategic support. But that's not enough for Zelensky right now.
That's right. Netanyahu has to deal with his right wing. He's got a right wing. And there's a right wing of Zelensky that says, you better not agree to stop fighting. They invaded us. They killed our families. They're destroying our infrastructure.
Yeah, of course.
We're doing damage. Well, so he can't just, he is not a dictator.
And it's still,
he is still dealing with a democracy and a parliament.
It's still unclear, though, if Vladimir Putin will agree to a deal.
Oh,
That's my point.
Well, here's the thing. Yesterday, the foreign minister of Russia, Lavrov, said that he saluted Donald Trump's common sense on the issue, even though they don't align on everything. And also, the foreign minister spokesperson said that what happened in the Oval Office was a miracle of restraint, they said, the Russians did, that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance did not punch Zelensky in the nose, essentially,
will he address
because
this
of
tomorrow
all
night?
that.
Yep. And so I'm thinking that's really where I'm at. Yeah, the Russians aren't being asked for any concessions. The Ukrainians aren't being given any security guarantees. What reason would Russia have to stop? Because Russia would probably get some of the land from Ukraine, and they'd probably get some money out of it. That's the reason, right? That's probably what's going to happen. I feel like that's the way it would resolve. Yeah, and after that, I don't know. Just do it again in 5 years. You can't do that. You can't give them anything if you hope for peace. What's next? I don't know. But my point is that the thing is that, like, with Ukraine being involved in this, there's two separate things. There's what should Ukraine do and what should the United States. So reward their transgressions. A lot of people get fixated around the concept around being right and wrong. And that's not the right way to look at things. It's naive. Yeah, it's just naive. Like, the fact is that Russia is more powerful. Isn't it interesting that every single time in history, the good guys win? What are the odds? What are the odds? Wow, what a surprise. Interesting. Yeah, so interesting. This is just how it is. Russia's not so powerful. They're not whenever we are arming Ukraine and they're being armed by a bunch of other people. But if we stop arming them and we stop supporting them, then are they going to be able to push back Russia? I would say probably not, right? I would say definitely not. And so the fact is that it is on us, and it basically is our decision on what to happen. Like, that's the truth. They lose immediately without our weapons and support? Yeah, exactly. And they don't understand that Putin needs to be appeased for this to work. I think that he can't get out of it without getting something out of it, right? The issue is also kind of U.S. withdrawing support has broken any agreement with Ukraine at the cost of Ukraine dismantling their nuclear arsenal, though. Yeah, but the thing is that Ukraine dismantling their nuclear arsenal in like 1994, it's got nothing to do with now. That's not... The thing is, like, they're not going to make decisions based off of that now. That's not what's going to happen. It does? No, see, like, again, people a lot... This is... This is the way I look at things. And agreements are for nothing? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. They are. And if you go back in history, you're going to find all of history is littered with broken agreements. Everything. It's all littered. So many broken agreements. All the time that happens. Times change. Yeah, exactly. And so the fact is that the only thing that matters is who has power, who has the ability to exercise that power, and to what extent can they exercise that power. That is what matters. Everything else doesn't matter. Like the ideology, who's right, who's wrong, who did it first, who should be rewarded, everything like that's all bullshit. None of that's real. What's real is the ability to exercise force on somebody else and kill them. And if they can kill you, it doesn't matter if you're right when you're dead. And that's it. And that's the point that I'm making.